Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space in my backyard. So, what are we doing today? We are planting garlic. I think that we are in a good place to plant garlic. We are not getting into the 80s. Our nights are low. And so we're going to plant the garlic today. Our days are still 70s. Like, it was cooler earlier, which is why I still have on this sweatsuit, but I'm probably going to take the shirt off. Because now we're like 70s, warm, and the sun is out. But I wanted to show y'all the garden after the frost. We lost the roselle, we lost the beans, we lost the trombicino squash. Everything is gone. The few peppers that are still out here, we're gonna pull those today too. Those are the ones where the peppers weren't really growing. It was cold and I didn't want to stay outside to pull them. So we're gonna pull those too. But let me show you really quick. It's pretty much the trellises and the roselle. It's gone. So you see there, that's the trellis that had the trombicino squash on it. Interestingly enough, the passion fruit vine has not died. It looks really good still. Like the frost did not bother it yet. Right there, our beautiful roselle has died. It still has these, but they're very mushy. So we're gonna pull those out. I don't know if we're gonna do it today, but we're gonna get those pulled out. The one over here also died. The beans on the trellis up here, they're done. But at this bean trellis owes me nothing because this is the one that I wanted to pull, but I didn't just because it was still growing. The summer vegetables are gone from my garden at this point, and we are full on into fall. But fall is looking amazing, y'all. Fall is looking amazing. I harvested some radishes the other day. Yeah, fall is looking amazing. I cannot complain whatsoever. It looks really good. We've eaten kohlrabi. Over here, we still have fall going. So I'm excited. There's a little broccoli coming in this one. I had told y'all that before, but I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't know if I can get close enough, but there's a little broccoli. Oh, there we go. There's a little broccoli in there. So fall is starting out pretty good. I'm excited. So listen, let me tell you about the boots you saw earlier. They are from High C, and I have worked with them several times. I love their boots. I probably have 6 pair at this point. I've worked with them a few times. The boots are amazing. They are tough. They are warm. 100% stay dry, stay warm. There's a link below that you can use if you want to check out their boots. But I wanted to tell you about them. So these are the duck rain boots, I think is what they're called. They told me to pick a pair, and so I picked these. I absolutely love them. I feel like I could wear these outside of the garden, and I might try it. Okay, so we are planting garlic today though. So that's what I'm gonna try to get into this, get working. We have bone meal here because garlic likes bone meal. So we are planting in the same bed that the sweet potatoes were in. This is what I did last year too. When we took this actual bed wasn't here last year. It was a no dig bed. And then we put the Vigo garden bed in, and then I planted the garlic in it. There were no sweet potatoes over here last year. But sweet potatoes and garlic kind of like the same kind of soil. So that's what I'm going to do. I am planting them now because I think last year I planted them too early. And they started sprouting like early fall, I think. They started sprouting, or mid-fall, maybe not early fall. They started sprouting in mid-fall, and then I didn't have the best garlic harvest last year. I did use it. I made it into garlic powder, worked well, but I didn't have any to preserve or to store. So I'm planting them later this year because I'm hopeful that will help me to get a good harvest that I can store. I'll still make powder, but I want to have enough to be able to do both. There's a lot of rocks in this bed. I don't know why. It was my compost, but I put my leaves in my compost, and my leaves from the front of the house does have rocks because there were a lot of rocks in the garden beds. Well, in the flower beds in the front of my house. Well, they're still there because I didn't take them out. I just covered them with dirt, with soil to try to grow flowers in the front yard. It's not going well. I didn't even plant any this year, but there are daffodils and something else that always come up every year up there in the spring. So I'm focusing on my backyard garden. So we just went through the bed with this. I can't find my little rake, because one thing about me, I'm gonna lose a garden tool, right? It's gonna pop up one day and I'm gonna be like, oh, there you go. So we're gonna drop some bone meal in here. And I should have done this a few weeks ago so that it could start breaking down, because this is a granulated bone meal. Bone meal comes in powder and granules. Either way, it needs to have time to break down. It's gonna break down with the water in the soil, but it's not gonna be immediately ready. The good thing is garlic is not gonna really start growing, I'm hopeful, like above ground until spring is what I'm hoping for. And so during this time, you know, winter, fall, it's gonna work on creating its roots, and then it'll start growing in the spring for me, and should be close to ready to harvest, or ready to harvest close to July. Last year, well, earlier this year, mine was ready much earlier, and the cloves started to separate. So I'm hoping by planting it out this late, like much later, that won't happen this year. But of course you'll be here, and I'll be here to tell you if it did. I'm probably gonna also add some granulated, like all-purpose fertilizer too. Give me 1 minute, I will be right back. So I don't really use a lot of extra fertilizers anymore. I use a organic granulated fertilizer. This is one that I had from somewhere. I'm not really sure where I got it from. And I'm not very picky, although I do prefer another variety over this, but this is what I have right now. I cannot remember the name of it right now. All of this should have been done a few weeks ago, but it wasn't. So when I pulled out the sweet potatoes, I probably should have done this so that it could start breaking down. But like I said, if I'm lucky, this stuff will start breaking down, and the garlic will be able to start to grow its roots throughout the what you know, gardeners kind of call the off season. All right, so I went to the grocery store and I brought garlic cloves. I think I did 5. I've broken most of them up, kept the bigger ones and the smaller ones, because the smaller ones I'm gonna put in the holes of the bricks. But basically, you can also purchase these from seeds, you know, seed suppliers. They can be hard to get if you don't get them early. I don't do things early in most cases. So with that being said, I always end up at the grocery store. So I do not know the variety. I am pretty sure it is soft neck. It's not hard neck. Because as I understand it, hard neck doesn't grow well in my area anyway. So I think they say hard neck grows better in cooler, you know, areas. So that works well for me. All right, so this is it. And you're just gonna break the cloves apart. I leave the paper on the clove. I don't take the paper off. But like right there, you break it apart, and that's what you're gonna plant. And so you wanna plant them maybe 2 times their how big they are. So I just kind of push it down into the soil, but you know, the right way probably. Gonna cover that bed with some leaves for the season, so that we don't have to worry about like the rain splashing down and maybe uncovering the bulbs, things like that. And we won't have to worry about runoff because it's a raised bed. But I will cover that with leaves. We have plenty of leaves now. My son is gonna get them up and mulch them for me sometime this week. I hope. Fingers crossed. I did ask him to. He normally does what I ask him to on his own time though. So if you remember, we planted onion seeds in the brick holes, and a lot of them have come up. I'm surprised because I did not like water them as I should have. Even with the sprinkler, the brick holes, they dry out much faster than the regular bed, like the insides of the bed. So wherever an onion hasn't come up, we are going to use some of the smaller garlic cloves. So I'm just gonna dig a hole in here and push it down. They will look different from the onions, and so I will know the difference. There is no method to my madness on this one. I can cook with them too. I don't want you to think like you can't just take them in the house and cook with them, because you can. I'm just gonna put them in here because it's that time of season and I can go to the grocery store and buy more garlic if I need it. And the small ones are hard to get into anyway. And as I understand it, onions and garlic are good for keeping pests away. So having them around the bed is probably going to be a good thing. I need to pull weeds. And so I'm gonna go ahead and plant these out. After that, I'm gonna plant some cilantro seeds. I completely forgot about cilantro this year. And it's still, like I said, getting warm in the area, so I think they'll still germinate. So I'm gonna throw them in a few places, not even sure where. Honestly, I could put them in the other Vigo garden bed because it's also very well shaded. Cilantro is very much prone to balting. I have a slow balt one, but I'm thinking maybe I'll put them over there in that bed, and maybe I'll have cilantro a little bit longer once spring gets here. We'll see. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so all of the garlic is in. I'm drinking a little bit of water. And now we're gonna plant some cilantro. I have two varieties. I have a Seeds of Change variety, and they're slow balt. And then I have Cedra. They gifted me these a while ago. So we're gonna overplant. Both packs of these seeds are a little bit older. So we're gonna overplant probably 2 or 3 seeds in a hole, just to be safe. So this bed has really settled. Like, it is way away from the top. I filled it with leaves at the bottom. I think like old plants, this one. And then I put compost on the top of it. I'm not gonna worry about it. I think that everything has probably broken down. This bed grew fine over the summer. This is where we had that huge borage plant. And so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm going to put some granulated fertilizer in here. I am not going to put any bone meal in here because these are cilantro. And then we're gonna plant these cilantro out and we're gonna hope for the best. Okay, so just like we did with the bed for the garlic, I need my gloves. I'll be right back. You would think there's a whole pouch on the side of this and that I would use it correctly. And I do for my tools most of the time, because like I said, I'll lose my tools too. There's a marigold in here, so we're gonna pull that out. I'm gonna dig down a little bit to see where we stand with the things that I put in here, like if they broke down or not. There's rocks over here too. Yeah, it's pretty deep, like pretty deep down. There's still soil. I'm not seeing any leaves. So everything has broken down. So yeah, I'm absolutely not gonna worry about, yeah, I'm down to the ground and I'm not feeling leaves. So everything is broken down. So I have a few plants, Swiss chard and some collards that are shaded, and collards and Swiss chard can grow in shade. They're over here under this trellis, but I harvested 2 kohlrabi, and so I'm going to also move some of the Swiss chard over by the other Swiss chard that's in there. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yes. And the collards, Probably gonna leave them where they are, but as things start to finish in the bed, like the radishes, as you know, hopefully it's not too cold, I'll move those too to fill up this bed so it's not dormant all season long. So even when I have extra starts, I don't get rid of them, especially in fall, because radishes, they mature very quickly. And so if I didn't have extra starts, then I wouldn't have anything to put in those beds. And so I planted these things knowing they would be shaded, but knowing that those radishes were gonna finish before fall ended and before winter got here. And so that's what I'm going to do. I picked a bunch of radishes yesterday too. And so when that bed finishes, I will move those collards over into that bed. But today we're gonna transplant. I have so much to do today, y'all. It's crazy. I told y'all a little bit at the beginning because that's what I think I'm gonna get through, you know, in this video, probably before it gets dark. It's about to get dark at 5 o'clock. Like, what in the whole entire world? So I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if we don't get a video Wednesday, it'll be up, you know, maybe Thursday or Friday, because I'm off Friday, because I'm not gonna have time to come home and do a video anymore, because by the time I get home, it'll be dark. I get off at 5. Just so y'all know, if we don't get a Wednesday video, that's why. I'm also off on Tuesday, but I have got to get this hair redone. So I'm probably gonna be sitting in, well, I won't be probably, I already scheduled that. I will be sitting in a beautician's chair getting my hair done Tuesday. We're just gonna go ahead and dig this out. It's looking very pruny, but we're gonna try to get as much roots as we can to take with us, soil and roots, honestly, because I just want to drop this down into the soil. We got us a worm coming too. Yeah, so I try to get as much of those roots as I can, because I'm gonna drop the roots and the soil over in the other bed. So right here is where we harvested kohlrabi, and we ate those for dinner the other night, and we already have Swiss chard. These right here were transplanted after this one, and so that's why they're so much smaller, but they're getting there. Swiss chard is frost hardy, but the larger leaves will start to do this. So I normally try to harvest them before I know a hard frost is gonna come. I didn't get this one, so yep. Throw that back in the bed. And so we have Swiss chard here. I normally will do 3 or 4 to a square foot. And this is where the kohlrabi was. And I had 2 in 1 square foot. Or actually, these weren't square foot this year. I did 16 by 12. So we're just gonna dig a hole. Oh, I wanna use my hoary knife. I'm gonna get that for the next one. And then we're gonna just drop all of this down in there. So it's coming with some of the soil that it left from. If I'm lucky, we won't have too much transplant shock, and we'll have a nice amount of Swiss chard growing right here. It'd be so pretty coming right into the garden. And we're gonna do the other one right over here. Let me go grab it. Didn't get as much soil as I would have liked on this one, and it's much smaller, but we're still gonna put it in here and see what happens. And you can plant Swiss chard a little bit deeper than where it was originally. And so, that's what I did with that one. So now we have the spot where the kohlrabi is gone from, has something in it. And Swiss chard can get pretty big. So this whole area will be pretty and colorful once all of these start to grow. So look at this kohlrabi right here. That thing is ready to go. We got to work that into dinner this week. Look how big it is. It's nice. This is the one that got 8 down. That's looking good and be ready to go soon too. Okay, so what is next? I need to fertilize. I did not fertilize last week. It's Sunday, and I didn't fertilize last week, so I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize. Y'all have seen me do that a million times. And so I use fish emulsion in fall because it is high in nitrogen. Most of the vegetables for fall are leafy vegetables, but I do these beds that have broccoli, cabbage, collards, kohlrabi. I fertilize them with the same amount of fertilizer. So these beds right here, I fertilize them with the same amount of fertilizer, same dilution. But the radishes and the turnips and the rutabagas, the root vegetables, I do that diluted because they don't need a lot of fertilizer, but they definitely don't need the same strength as the other vegetables. So I'm gonna fertilize those, and then I will be back. So we're pulling it like always. I am cutting the bottom and leaving the roots in the bag, like sitting in the top, but I'm not like leaving them in the soil. If they break down before we get back to winter, that will be awesome. And then that'll be some organic matter going into the bags, but I'm not leaving them like in the soil, because then in spring I'm just gonna have to take them out. This one is in there. Probably need the, oh no, I got it. Big deep root system. And also dry soil. But we just gonna make sure we leave all of the soil. Still gonna leave the roots too. And cut it. But if it doesn't break down, then in the summer, spring, all I have to do is pick it up out of the bag as opposed to like digging it out. That'll make my spring prep a little bit easier. And in the spring, I'll top these bags with more compost, put some granulated fertilizer in it, and plant again. And I do not take the soil out of my bags. I used to like move them all over by the fence. Not doing that either. Everything's gonna stay here. I will probably put some leaves over top of it again so that we don't have to deal with like splash up and stuff like that and losing soil. But I'm not moving any of the bags. They're all gonna stay right where they are. It's a spider. We got us a friendly spider still here. Y'all see it? It's on the bag, so that's unfortunate, because when I pull, well, it's on the plant. When I pull the plant, his web is gonna move. So he's moving already, but I gotta pull the plant out, so. I'm watching him though, because I do not want him on me. Okay. So that was our last one to pull. Nice root systems. And someone had asked me, look at that root system. That's grown in a bag, y'all. Nice root system. Someone had asked me, why do I want to keep pests in my garden? And so I was kind of confused because I was like, which pest? And they were asking about the spiders. Spiders are not pests in a garden. In most cases, of course, you know, spiders can bite and spiders can build webs and things like that. But in a garden, spiders are good to keep bugs down and to keep other pests away, honestly. So I'm not keeping pests in my garden. I'm keeping a spider in my garden, which, you know, some people don't like spiders, don't like bugs, but I'm keeping something in my garden that can actually help my garden. So to answer that question, and I think that, no, I don't think I know that you responded and I didn't get a chance to respond back to you. So if you are still watching, I don't keep the pest. Well, listen, I do keep the pest too, because I don't do nothing to get them out of here. But on purpose, the things that I don't mind being in my garden are spiders. they can absolutely stay. But the garden is looking good. I'm happy with the work I got done today. I am done for the day though. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in the garden almost every day. Bye y'all.